everyone! Welcome to the next interview for the Sugar Awareness Movement, and I'm so excited to be here together with Barbara Rijntjes.
Thank you very much, great to be here.
So great to have you. And Barbara will be sharing more about the role of sugar in her life and her personal story with sugar. But before we get into that, I want to introduce Barbara to you. So Barbara, well, first of all, she's really a power woman, like a superwoman. She's full of energy. This is how I see her, and many other people. It's not only me. And so whoever meets Barbara will be able to tell that she has a wonderful energy. She's always super energized and really this, she has this kind of light and vitality that so many people wish to have. And so that's why I'm also very curious to hear more about Barbara's tips for you today on how to reduce your sugar intake. But Barbara's career actually started in a very different sector. She was a partner in a big consultancy firm back in the Netherlands. And then she moved to Switzerland and actually started a different career in well-being. So now she's like this well-being entrepreneur, which isn't much of a surprise because she's always been a sports freak. And running her, what was it, 6th marathon next week?
Yep.
Next week in Berlin already shows of her sporty capabilities. And obviously that goes really well with, first of all, having so much energy, but also really living a healthy lifestyle that gives her so much energy. So now she founded Boost, so Boost Your Energy, here in Switzerland, and she's working both with private clients but also with corporate clients. And I'm so excited to have you here. So can you share a little more about your own experience with sugar?
Yes, well, first of all, thank you very much for this very kind introduction.
Mm-hmm.
It would be funny if I would now say I have that much of energy because I'm constant on Red Bull, which is
I know that's not true.
no, that's not true. Which is of course not true, but it is a trigger that brought me into the whole well-being area because I was asked so often, like, what is this with you and the energy? Are you on constant Red Bull? And really, I am not. I actually don't like Red Bull that much, but no. So, but that really got me thinking about it because first of all, what you have yourself, you don't always realize that it can be something of value for another person. So that got me thinking about what is it? What is really this energy about, and what is it? And I've decided to work on that and that whole area.
Oh, that's so good. And what about sugar? Did you ever like sugar when you were growing up?
Oh, loving it. Yes, absolutely. No, and especially in this, so I've not always lived this life in a healthy way. And to be honest, I'm not doing only healthy things. I like wine, I like, I always like to come up with research that wine is very healthy. And I like a lot of food and all these kind of things. So it's not always 100% healthy all the time. But I think the main thing was that I was living a very different lifestyle. So when I was working in consultancy, which was a very demanding job, 70, 80 hours per week, working to small children, before children already as well, but also with two small children, lack of sleep. So there was and I don't drink coffee just because I don't like it, unfortunately. So I didn't have any caffeine to help me through the day. So I was living on sugar. Haribo, loved it. All those
the kids love it.
Yes. My kids now have a different song for it, but yeah, no. So definitely, as a consultant, you travel a lot. So I was in the car a lot and was just going from gasoline station to gasoline station, just getting more drop, the Dutch liquids, just sweets. To keep the energy going. So yes, definitely have a special relationship with sugar.
Wow, and how did that change?
Well, mostly, actually it was, I think it was already right after the first child, but mostly with my second child. So that was now about 7 years ago. When I realized when I was really not sleeping well, so a lack of sleep in this demanding business environment. And I just realized that I couldn't go on like this because I was just, my body, my emotions were sort of gone. Because at one point when you just have this cortisol, this adrenaline in your body all the time. And adrenaline is nice, but the cortisol that comes with it is not always nice. So at one point you start noticing that you sort of block all your emotions, that you're just not paying attention to your health mentally and physically. So I just felt deep down that I was not on top of my game anymore, and my energy, coming from being a very energetic person, I felt that my energy was more on the outside than that I inside really felt really energetic.
Wow. And what about sports? Because you've done many sports from a very young age, and you even became a personal trainer in the last few years. And so how has sugar even played a role in your sports?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people actually, yes, what you mentioned, eat the white pasta, go for the the sugar boost to keep going.
Absolutely. No, I think I started my whole journey in the healthy lifestyle. I've always had a very positive relationship with sports. So I'm one of the few people who have really intrinsic motivation to do sports, which is really only about 10% of the population. So really no worries if you don't like to go to the gym. It's only a very small percentage who really has the motivation coming from itself. I was one of those. So sports was my sort of savior, was my that always kept me going. So I had that part, and then mostly because of the lack of sleep and still needing to concentrate, I felt that I needed to find out which food really worked for me. I didn't have any breakfast. I had my routines which I knew that were not healthy. So that's where it all started. So I was not focused on sugar or quitting sugar there yet. And then I think what happened then is I started to get to know my body. I started to get to know how my body reacted to things. I then found out that the yogurt that I was always having, if I was having breakfast, it was yogurt. And then by just stopping with that, I started to find out that actually my body liked that a lot better, not having that. And it was not because somebody said, hey, you cannot have any yogurt. It was just trying out. So I think really step by step, little by little, I started to try those things, and then it's inevitable that you also come to sugar, and then I had to give up my Haribo. Yeah, that's about it.
I can imagine. And what about your children? Because you just mentioned you have two adorable children.
Yeah.
How do they feel about the sugar?
They hate
your
it.
friends?
No. I think it's all about the mindset. I think they're very used to the fact that we don't have the Haribo and that we don't have all the sweets. I'm for sure not too rigid. I think not too rigid about it. So I'm not saying that if they go to birthday parties or if they go to friends that they cannot have sweets or they cannot have cake. Not at all. It's up to them. But what I do find very important, that also they now already know their body. So if they went to a birthday party or to a friend and they had a lot of sweets, which I think they actually do because they go crazy when they see the sugar, and they're like, oh, I don't get that at home, better get it here. It has this magic attraction power to them. But what I find important is that they know what the effect is. So quite often when that happens, they come home and then they're home and it's like, oh, mommy, my belly hurts. Oh, mommy, I really don't feel good. And that is actually, then you can have a conversation, as little as they are. Well, they're not as little anymore, but really I did that already when they were 4 or 5 years old. Then let them have it, and then have the conversation about what it means to them. And then it's easy, because then they know.
I love that, because that's actually for a lot of people what has been so important, to really have the intrinsic motivation to realize, how do I feel with sugar? And then when you don't feel so well, then you just over time you're like, oh no, I rather just reduce it. That's what you said, you don't have to be too rigid about it, but just at least make sure that you feel great. Good. Yeah. And what are some tips you would like to share with the audience on reducing their sugar intake? Yeah, well, a bit what I said already. I think for me the most important one would be know your body. So and that is what I love about your sugar program as well. That it really comes down to what is the effect of sugar, not just showing films or videos or YouTube things about how bad sugar is, but because here in our minds we all know it, or we sort of deny and say that it's the next bad thing, but by really feeling it yourself, you can't deny it. So if you
so it really invests time and energy in getting to know your body and the effect of sugar on your body. And then and of course, with me doing all the sports and doing the marathons, I cannot do a marathon. I'm not that pure. I cannot do a marathon at my personal best without any chemical sugar things. It's just not there yet. It is, but then it's this big, and I need to take it with me. It's just not enough. So I do have my trade-offs, absolutely. And I think that's my second tip: be gentle. So as if you get really to it, you sort of tend to get preaching about it, right? And you want to do it, and you punish yourself when you're not doing it right. No, we're just human, and every day you can start again. And if you really, really, really love chocolate, then don't give it up all at once. Just very slowly trade it for dark sugar, and then after a while you don't want the very sweet one anymore. So it's knowing your body and be gentle.
I love that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Barbara. What about for people, if they want to reach out to you, contact you, and also I must say really follow the Instagram Boosting Now also, because I already know it. And I will also use the caption, because there, if you are looking for, to boost your energy, feeling better and just more energized like Barbara, there are so many tips she's sharing there.
Thank you very much.
And what about your website?
Yes, if people want to know more, they can go to my website. It's boostingnow.com, and you can find all information there and reach out to me and let me know what your thoughts are about all this.
Great. Well, thank you so much for being in this interview and for the great tips you've shared, and I absolutely love them, and I also love you so much. So thank you so much for being here. Yes.
Thank you. Lovely.
And
thank you.
Your energy is really contagious. So as said, really just make sure to follow the Instagram account, Facebook account, and also check out the website. And you can also read more about the corporate programs Barbara is doing, because she's made already such a big impact in the corporate world too, which I absolutely love. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Barbara.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Hi everyone, I'm so excited to be here today with Barbara Rijntjes. Hello Barbara.
Hello, great to have you.
Thank you so much for your time, and sorry, Barbara, great to have you. I'm having you.
Oh yeah, sorry, I didn't even hear that. Sorry, great to be here. Start over, cuts.